Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. Two different cases, both from the ATL. And oh, My-Lanta, what is going on with these baby mamas and the baby mamas having to deal with the baby mamas dramas? Second case, mom shows up, and like the baby mama's mama says, she's been drinking all night. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
All right. Hello. Good morning. My name is Judge Tangela Beer. I'm the judge for Division 10. This is our emergency hearing related to change of custody on McGlone versus Montfort. Who do we have present with us on the call?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Attorney Harrell, and I represent Miss McGlone, and we have Miss McGlone here with us as well.
All right. And with regard to Miss Montfort, were you able to serve Miss Montfort?
I was unable to perfect service. I did try to notify her of the upcoming hearing via email. However, I'm not sure if she was able to open it, as well as Miss Ashby. I did confirm that the email was sent to Miss Ashby. However, I'm not certain if she was able to open it or read
Now,
the.
who is Ashby?
Miss Ashby, we sent an amended petition. She is Miss Montford's, she is Miss McGlone's minor daughter, who is the actual parent of the minor child at issue.
Okay, Ashby.
Yes.
What's Ashby's last?
Her name is
The last name?
Monique. Yeah, her last name is Ashby. It's first name Monique, Monique, last name Ashby, Ashby.
All right. So maybe start by giving me some background as to relationships and how we kind of got here.
Yes, ma'am. So just to paint a picture, Your Honor, petitioner is the grandmother of the minor child at issue. The two parties that have been noticed and are, up to be our respondents. One is the minor child of the petitioner, Miss Monique Ashby. The other is Miss Latifah Montford, who is Miss Ashby's paternal grandmother. And I think I might be right about that. If I'm wrong, Miss McGlone, please correct me, because I know the relationships are kind of hard there to kind of discern. And you're muted right now, Miss McGlone, if you'd like to unmute.
Miss Montfort is Monique's, I'm sorry, is Navy grandmother.
It's who?
Is Navy's grandmother. That is the my grandchild.
Yeah. What I'm asking you is Miss Ashby the paternal grandmother?
Oh no, Miss Ashby is my daughter. Monique is my daughter. Miss Montfort is the
paternal grandmother
of Navy.
No, ma'am. What I'm asking you is, what's the relationship between your daughter and Miss Montfort? What's their
Nothing at all. She's there. They're nothing at all. She is the father of Navy mother. So that is Navy father mother.
That is Navy's father's mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. The minor child's paternal grandmother. But they have.
I thought you were saying it was Ashby's paternal grandmother, but it's the minor's child paternal grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is Miss Ashby and the father married?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And with regard to Miss Ashby, who does Miss Ashby want the children to go to?
So currently, Your Honor, the petitioner is the legal guardian over Navy Ashby, the minor child at issue. I also attached those documents to the amended petition. However, They had an altercation at the home, which caused my client to be arrested. And during this detainment, that is when the change of custody occurred because they sent for all the children while she was away. And by the children, I mean all of petitioner's minor children. So all of her children, including the minor child at issue, were then taken to New Jersey without Miss McGlone's consent.
And who are these children?
These are all my client's children.
Okay, and who are they? What are their names?
Rasheen Cease,
Okay, and how old is Rasheen?
13.
And he's still where?
Their father went and picked them up from New Jersey, but when they went to pick them up from New Jersey, my mother would not allow my grandbaby to come back.
Okay, so no, I'm confused.
It's confusing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. Just give me the relationships. That's what I need. So
Okay,
yeah,
so Rasheen
you
Cease
said
is
they
my
went, you said they went to New Jersey. Did they go to the same house in New Jersey or not?
yes, they did.
All right, then you need to explain to me how you're saying that your mother would not let them go. I thought your mother had nothing to do with this, and that Miss Munford.
Because Miss Montfort, Monique, and Navy are staying at Miss Montfort house now. They are over. It's so okay. This what happened.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
After the accident, I want you to listen very closely to my questions. I don't want you to give me anything extra. Just listen to my question, okay?
Yes,
Please.
ma'am.
Yeah. After the incident where you were arrested, where did the children go?
They went to my partner house, which is Shantasia Burnett.
They went to your partner's house, and her last name is Burnett.
Yes, ma'am.
Her or he?
It's a her.
Okay, so your partner, and when you say partner, you mean intimate partner.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you went to your intimate partner, Miss Burnett, and she lives where?
We're actually neighbors, so we live in the same complex.
All right, so DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what happened next?
And then defects came to the jail and asked me where did I want my kids to be placed. And I told them with Shantasia Burnett. And they came back to Shantasia house, talked with her, let her know that, asked her, was it okay for them to stay? She said yes. In the middle of the night, my mother sent a friend of the family here, because my mom is in New Jersey, sent a friend of the family to Shantasia house and took the kids in the middle of the night. My 8-year-old daughter opened the door and they all left with the Sharita Nelson.
All right, so
and it's all on camera, Your Honor.
Okay. And so you wanted your kids to stay with Miss Burnett. You told DFAX there. DFAX took them to Miss Burnett. Your mother sent a friend in the middle of the night and took them without Miss Burnett's permission. Or Miss Burnett's permission.
Miss Burnett was up. Well, as they was leaving out, that's when Miss Burnett woke up and she said that she's telling them they didn't have to leave. And Sharita Nelson said, you do, because your mom said that she has paperwork to take all the kids when she did not even, when I got out, Your Honor, I talked to Miss Ola, which is the defects worker. She said she never had a conversation with my mother.
Okay, so your mother's name is what?
Nicole Day.
Nicole what?
Day.
Day?
Yes, ma'am. D-A-Y.
Right. Nicole Day lives in New Jersey, sent Sharita Nelson to come get your children.
Correct.
How many children did she get?
5.
Okay. And what are the ages?
Monique Ashby, 16. Then you have Rasheen Cease, he's 13. Rashawn Cease, he's 10. Mahogany McGlone, she's 8. And Navy Ashby, she is now 10 months.
Okay. Then they went to New Jersey, and whose house did they live in when they got to New Jersey?
My 3 kids, my 13-year-old said they were at my mom's house the whole time. When they got with Monique and Navy, my mom dropped them off to the Latifah Montfort house. So they didn't see each other the whole time they were there.
So Monique, Ashby, and Navy went somewhere else.
Correct.
Where did they go?
to Latifah Montfort house.
All right. Now, and then at some point, the kids, what happened to them, the ones that were with your mom?
My ex-husband went and picked them up, ma'am.
And did what with them?
Brought them back to Georgia.
Now, why did she let them go back to Georgia?
Because they weren't taken from my custody.
Okay. So
yes.
Your ex-husband went to pick all those 3 kids up. Why did he not pick up the 2 at Miss Montfort's house?
Because my mom wouldn't let them know where she lived at.
Your mom would not let your ex-husband know where they lived?
Where they were at, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you know why she wouldn't tell them?
I'm not sure. It's just a big, it comes down to my sexuality, Honor. So she already told me, I said, Mom, when I got out of jail, I said, Mom, why didn't you send Navy back? And she said, I don't feel as though it's right for 2 women, the same sex, to raise kids. And I'm like, I've been having my grandbaby ever since she came out of my daughter. Like, I've been taking care of her, and with no one help, Your Honor, no assistance, no nothing. It's all been on me. And then when this happened with Monique, she feel as though she got them, and that's where we at right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the child, so the children where is Miss Ashby now?
She's in New Jersey. She didn't send her back either. We have right now.
Have you had any communication with Miss Ashby?
No, ma'am, because my oldest son said my mom won't let her talk to me, but we're not allowed to talk until I go to court. Monique trashed my apartment because Monique is a troubled teen. She had mental health issues. When she had the baby, I had paperwork and everything. Monique is not allowed to be with the baby by herself because she said the people in her head tell her to hurt her. So Monique gave guardianship over Navy.
Okay.
And yes, ma'am. So
Monique's not supposed to be with the kid by herself.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. And since she's been up there, Navy I have pictures too, black eyes and a gash in her head. She was 9 months old and she do not walk.
Okay. And with regard to Miss Montfort, this one's for you, Mr. Harrell. What communication do you have? What do you have, a resource that you have to indicate where she lives, and how were you attempting to serve her?
We actually had an address that we received from Miss McGlone in order to try to achieve perfection of service.
You got an address from who?
From a client.
I know. How do you know that's a good address? Have you used any LexisNexis or any detectives or PI or anybody else to try to figure out where her address is?
No, Your Honor, because my client did confirm that was her address.
Okay. How are you confirming then, Miss McGlone, that's an address when you said that when your ex-husband was there to get the children, he couldn't get them because he didn't know where they were?
Yes, ma'am, because when my 13-year-old talks to Monique, and they was sharing each other location and talking to each other, and we got the address like that.
Okay. And so
I also looked it up on People Search, and her name and everything came up as well.
Okay. So Mr. Herrera, how did you serve her with the notice?
I sent her, well, first we tried to get our process server out. Unfortunately, it looks like our process did not move very quickly in this situation. And we actually filed a motion for special appointment because it's in New Jersey with the court. And so I just need that order signed by the court, actually, Your Honor. And because I knew the hearing was coming up, I did try to send them, the petition and the notice real nice via email, because, I'm just trying to make sure they have some type of notice about the upcoming hearing.
Yeah.
And that's all we were able to accomplish. Excuse me.
You said you attacked. Okay, maybe it's this one. Exhibits. Where's the order granting the petition?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The order granting the petition?
We don't have an order granting, or do you mean for the temporary guardianship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It should be attached in this as well.
Okay, maybe I'll go slower.
Yeah, I think it's towards the end because I know we have the selection by minor and the consent of the mother where they signed. There's no consent of father. Assumption or obligation of. Actually, let me see.
Did you receive an order from a court, Ms. McClone?
No, I haven't. I was still waiting for us to go to court.
You were still waiting for you to go to court to get temporary guardianship?
Yeah, so I went up to the courts. They gave me that paperwork. So I had to have Monique sign. We had to sign in front of the notary. And I was supposed to get a date when we went to go get, we had to get, what it was is we didn't have Navy birth certificate. So we need a Navy birth certificate. In the midst of all of that, Your Honor, it has been trying to get Monique home and trying to get to her it was a process. It's a process.
Does Monique want to come home?
I'm not sure, Your Honor, because I haven't talked to her. We haven't had no contact. My mom won't let me talk to her. They done blocked me on everything.
The arrest, was that related to Monique?
Yes, ma'am. She had bust out the windows of the car and bust holes in my doors in my home. Punched holes in my doors in my home. I'm sorry. So when I was on Defects, I was on the phone with Defects, Miss Ola. When Monique, she was supposed to be in
I'm sorry, let me just stop you. The children now, all the 3 children that you have, the 13, 10, and 8, are back in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Did DFACS put any provisions in place for them?
No, ma'am. That case is closed. It was closed when I talked to Miss Ola when I got out of jail. The case was open.
What case is closed?
I had a Defects case open. I was on the phone with Miss Ola when it all went down.
Okay, so the Defects case that you're saying was it related to you and Monique?
Yes.
You're saying that is closed?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have evidence of that?
I don't, but I can get it from Miss Ola. I can contact them. Because when I got out, the first people I called was them, because I know we had a conversation at the jail about my kids being taken. So being with Shantasia Burnett. So I was calling to see if it was a misunderstanding. And she said, no, ma'am, I have not talked to your mom. The kids were left in Shantasia Burnett custody.
You said that they said she could not be around the children. Who is they said that if there is nothing here?
So Monique has been in, I got paperwork on her therapist, family therapy, the doctors, They all have said Monique cannot be around Navy. She's been in 6 different mental hospitals since March 18th of last year.
Okay. The okay, so initially when you said they, I was thinking you were talking about court. You're saying a doctor has said that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Several
And
different.
do you have do you have documentation of that?
I is actually on my desk at work, but I can send it to Dr. Sorry, Attorney Harold. I'll leave and go get it.
And are you aware if Miss Montfort is aware that the child was not supposed to be left alone?
Yes, ma'am. I have text messages. Me and Miss Montfort never met, but we talked, been emailing, text messaging since Navy been born. So no
So,
one,
so
yeah.
have you texted her about this hearing?
No. She told me not to text her no more because she sided with my mom. So she told me don't text her no more. I have that email and I said, yes, ma'am, I won't do it. So I have not texted her. So she don't know anything about the hearing that I know of, but I did give Attorney Harold her phone number.
Have you tried to call her, Mr. Harrell?
Yes, ma'am, I did attempt to call her and I left a voicemail.
Did the voicemail pick up with her name? Like with this?
It just said the number, not the name.
Okay, give me one moment. Noah, if you'll come to my office. Miss McGlone, your video is off.
Yeah, let me see. She might have stepped to the bathroom. Let me give her a quick call.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. So one of the things that I was trying to consider or think through, there are a few. One is that the child isn't Miss McGlone's child. It is Miss Ashby's child. And Miss Ashby is with her child in another state. Miss McGlone has authority over Ashley. So if Ashley and her siblings or children are attached to Ashley are in danger, the statute basically reads that it says to protect the child because the child or a sibling or a parent of the child is subjected to or threatened with mistreatment or abuse. And so maybe traveling under that analysis, the court can interject an emergency. The problem, though, is that I have to be convinced or believe that the child is threatened with misabuse and mistreatment and having a bruise. Children have bruises. That is not uncommon for a child to have a bruise. And, generally, even looking at the pictures, child looks healthy, happy, she's smiling. And I'm just saying that what I've heard thus far has not put me in a position where I think that the child is actually being abused. So the court to assert jurisdiction. Miss McGlone has indicated that she has evidence, records indicating that Miss Ashley has mental health issues. And as a result, they started a process of gaining guardianship because it was necessary. I need that information. I've asked Miss Marshall to go down and take a look to see where that case is in process downstairs so I can get that information. But I would also need from Miss McGlone the indication that the defects case is closed. That is, I'm not moving a child from a safe haven to a worse situation because apparently reality is Miss McGlone was arrested for an assault allegedly on a child. Now I know she has her children back, but I need to make sure that DFACS has indicated that there are no dangers or concerns that they have, or that there's nothing that Miss McGlone needed to meet in order to have these children. Because I would not be doing my due diligence if I brought the children back to her without evidence that defects has not deemed the place safe, or that they found that there was insufficient evidence to move forward on some of the claims that were made that led to her arrest. So that's one. So I definitely need some indication that that defects has resolved their portion of the matter. The second thing is, then I have to be convinced that the child is in danger. I would need those medical records so that I can see that there are professionals who believe that this child should not be in the care of Miss Ashby, which is part and parcel of the fact that they started a process downstairs where Miss Ashley clearly has consented. The court has not yet said, okay, we accept this, but there is still an affidavit in the process downstairs, which the court has used to indicate this is what Miss Ashley has stated she wanted in light of her mental health issues. So all that together would give me enough to gain jurisdiction, but I have to have, in order to get jurisdiction on an emergency basis, I need those documents. And so I will give you a few days to get those documents to me. It sounds like Ms. McClellan's indicated that she has them readily at her fingertips. The sooner she can present those to me, the faster I can review and determine whether or not the court will exert a temporary emergency jurisdiction. I think obviously the child's home state is in the state of Georgia. The child was born here, raised here, but for a few weeks ago, the child lived here. The court has jurisdiction over the child. And so that's not really the concern that I have. The more concern that I have really is whether or not there is an emergency, and especially when a child is with their mother. So I need to find out there's an emergency, and the only way for there to be an emergency is that there is this mental health issue. But right now, all I have is Ms. McClellan indicating there's a mental health issue. I'm not indicating that she's not being truthful, but I am indicating that I'm gonna need more if I'm going to exert jurisdiction and take a child from a mother. I'm gonna need some more information to be able to be comfortable with that ultimate decision. Once the child is back in the state of Georgia, we will then have a formal hearing, obviously, because I think she's traveling on the equitable caregiver, and we'll have some formal hearings. But I would bring the child back to the general living situation that the child was in previously, and then we'll move from there. If Miss Ashby is now of the feeling that she no longer wants to do that, or she doesn't no longer want Miss McClellan to have the child, she'd rather do something else, depending on what her mental state is, she also has the right to do that as well. So in other words, Miss Ashby's position could be, well, I know I mentally can't do it, but I want this child to go to Miss Montfort. And that would be her decision. And then you would be determining again whether equitable caregiver and what's in the best interest of the child and yada, yada, yada. And we'll kind of deal with those as we get there. But until we figure out all of the intricacies of Miss Ashby's ability to make decisions, first of all, she's a minor, so that already kind of gives me a lot of concern. And Miss McClellan is the mother of the minor, and generally would be helping her make those decisions. So we would need to kind of delve into all of that. But before we even get there, I'm going to need you to give those documents to me. You can forward those to Ms. Marshall. Ms. Marshall will forward those to me, and then I'll determine whether or not the court is going to exert jurisdiction. If I do, I'll do an order basically exerting jurisdiction, and then likewise indicating the child needs to be brought back to the state of Georgia, because this is the child's home state, for one. And Miss McClellan was clearly taking care of the child, because I don't think Miss Ashby was financially taking care of the child if she was 15 or 16 years old. When did she have the child? How old was she when
She had the child when she was 16.
Okay, so how old is Miss Ashby now?
She'll be 17 tomorrow. Your Honor, she is in a state of, even for school, she don't know how to read. She don't know how to, you have to read things to her for her to explain. She don't know how to subtract money or anything. I am Monique's voice. Like, I have paperwork from school and everything. Monique is in
And so
10th.
she's special aid? Is she special education?
Yes, 501 plan. She also has a pending charge in the state of Georgia for stealing a vehicle. She has a lawyer, Attorney Bernstein, that this been going on because Monique was pregnant, so they didn't want to stress her out. But yeah, she has a pending charges against
And if
officers.
you could also send me her report indicating she's special education, if you could send that to me as well, those would be
Yes, ma'am.
helpful for the court to make some decisions. So if you would just be quick about getting those documents to me, you can send them to Ms. Marshall and the court make a decision at that time, okay?
Yes, ma'am. If I can just have Ms. Marshall email.
Yeah, so Ms. Marshall might still be downstairs, so let's see. Yes. Ms. Marshall, do you mind putting your email in the chat?
Oh, Dion's here.
Okay, so Miss Dion is sending it to you. Hold on for 1 sec.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Ms. McGlone, just send me the documents and I'll forward everything out to Ms. Marshall. Here we go. I got her email. Perfect.
I'm about to leave now to go to my job so I can send everything to you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just send it all over and I can scan it. Don't take pictures, and then to the judge.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Cool.
I'm confused.
No, that was Tuesday?
It was
Was it
Tuesday.
Tuesday or yesterday? No, it was Tuesday.
It was motion day.
Yeah.
Or it was,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, so we did that already.
confused.
Miss Vanessa, just talk to Miss Ebony, okay? And she already knows, or you can talk to Miss Telfair, but they already know that's already happened. So this is just the traffic offense.
Okay,
Your Honor, if I may, the defendant
ma'am.
does have an open case from September of 2020, September 26th of 2024, that I was gonna bring to the court's attention. I just accused it, on yesterday. She does have an open case, that has not made it to the calendar, Ms. Telfair. It appears that's what we were talking about.
For
It appears.
So I have from Miss Telfair that she had an outstanding traffic offense. That's why we did the,
And which is on today's calendar, Judge, I believe.
yeah, and then I don't see another one. The other ones look like they were closed through some other mechanism.
Correct, but she also has another case from September that I just accused yesterday.
From this September of
Yes, Your
2024?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor, September 26th.
Okay, what's it for?
Simple battery. Give me 1 second. Oh, I have it right here. So it's for simple battery and then 2 counts of criminal trespass for a total of 3 counts. And the victim is Miss Ebony Bartell in that case.
Okay.
So her
Yeah,
sister.
I don't even see that on here.
Yes, it didn't make it probably because I accused it probably too late before the counter went out, but I did accuse, like I say, yesterday. So maybe that's why.
All right, so Mr. Lynch, does that change what you want to do with the traffic offenses today?
Well, no, Judge. I mean, obviously we just resolved a couple cases for Ms. Telfair.
Ms. Telfair?
And so I would, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what we were going to do with the traffic offenses, because when we made the announcement, hey, we're going to wait for the traffic offense to be arraigned, we were hoping that would give our client a little bit of time to try to get the license, and then I didn't realize it was going to be the next day. So I was still going to confirm with her whether we're going to resolve that today.
Okay, well, if we want to move them so we can get both of them together, I would prefer to get everything done instead of just keep bringing folk back.
I would agree with that, Judge. My only I would agree with that, Judge.
All right, so can we just put these out maybe 2-3 weeks so that one, Miss Bartell, Miss Ebony, and Miss Vanessa don't have to like miss work or in the same month for the same issues. And two, so that we can make sure that anything that's outstanding can catch up so that we can get everything done?
Judge Mass, may I please have a word?
Yes, ma'am, Miss Vanessa.
I spoke earlier this morning to the victim advocate. I'm
Yes,
not for
ma'am.
sure she's on here.
She is.
Oh, okay. I know I wasn't there on the 29th when she had the other case,
Yes, ma'am.
but Sierra's not ready. She relapsed, and I'm gonna have to give her tough love. She relapsed yesterday. She's been on it drinking all night. I haven't gotten any sleep. She called the police to my daughter who's keeping her son, taking him to school, to their house yesterday for a child welfare check, claiming kidnapping because she was so intoxicated. I can't keep dividing my family trying to save Sierra. I signed a bond to get her out, thinking she had learned. She's intoxicated now, probably why she's not showing her face. And I'm aware that you gave her another time, but Sierra needs help. She's not a bad person. She's
I
not
got you.
a person, but she cannot keep relapsing. It's tearing my family. We're all divided.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
the case. September 26th, I spoke to someone earlier today. I couldn't get a name because I was just so emotionally drained. No sleep. Because he had been up all night on it. And I'm so upset and disappointed because I signed a bond thinking she was ready. She's not ready. She's not a bad person. But I didn't want her on the streets homeless, but Sierra needs some mental help and some alcohol treatment help. I didn't even know, I'm realizing now, because I found vodka bottles in the head and all that. She don't have a vehicle. I'm finding out DoorDash is sending her alcohol. Ebony, no, I'm not lying. Ebony, you know I'm not lying. And went to the point where it took me over the edge. And it was so ironic that I had to be here today. Is that she called the police to my daughter's Brandy and her husband's house. Brandy takes care of my grandson with her son. They're about a year apart. She made sure he's fed, he's bathed, he's clean, he go to school every day. He's happy. My grandson, I hate to say it, he's 6 years old.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
told me, Mama is angry. Mama's been drinking. He don't want to be around Sierra. Sierra got mad yesterday because she was screaming and hollering and drunk. Take me to see my son. I didn't want him to see her intoxicated. It smelled like alcohol. She called the police to Brandy's house. Sent the police there for a welfare check like my daughter did something to her son, who don't even want to be around her right now. So now I'm saying it, and it's tough love. Sierra is not ready. I regret even signing a bond a couple of days to get her out. Sierra needs help. She's not a bad person, but I'm afraid she's gonna drink herself to death. You see all her charges, y'all see them. She's gonna run up, not on family this time. Some stranger out there could really hurt her. Because I don't think Sierra realized what she's doing when she's drinking. And I'm telling y'all, I'm pleading, she needs help. And it's tearing my family apart, and more importantly, my grandson. My grandson don't even want to be around her. And that's the truth. And what she did yesterday to call the police to the house, for the one place where this boy's been well taken care of, going to school every day, not missing school. He's happy. What she did was so low that I haven't even got any sleep. And I called this morning. I don't know who I spoke to, but I told him I wanted to speak to you. So I remember last time I was in court with you all and tell you Sierra's not ready. I'm sorry, but she's not ready. And I'm pleading for help. She's not ready. And Ebony, no, I ain't lying. Now that thing on September the 26th, Ebony, you know that shouldn't even been called. I mean, I told you when I left with the baby, I would wink my eye, like say you call the police, hopefully she could turn down and stop it. I didn't really want you to call for real.
Well, I had to because somebody had to take a stand against Sierra, and
Yeah,
I'm tired of. I'm tired of it.
But
Like,
still,
I
it
need.
didn't have to
I
be
need
no
to
Tomorrow,
have-
talk about the fact of the case, please.
Miss Ebony and Miss
Yes.
Vanessa. So Miss Ebony, you've observed this behavior also, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, and that's why I had to stand my ground because they don't like to like they try to hide what's going on, and I'm tired of hiding it. You know, I wanted to go ahead
Yeah,
and
I
tell the truth.
I got you. This is why I talked to Miss Telfair, the way I did before, because Miss Telfair, like I said, the stigma is in not getting treatment. The stigma is in sitting behind closed doors. The stigma is in causing harm, psychological harm to your child because he has to see you like this. That's the bad stuff. The good stuff is seeking treatment. The good stuff is fighting the fight to get better. The good stuff is, your family is supportive of you. Everything I'm hearing now is not, we can't stand Sierra, we don't like her, she's a bad person. It is, we are frustrated, we are tired, we want better for her. And we want Sierra to realize that that if she keeps going down this road, it's not going to end well. And Miss Telfair, let me just tell you, every hard drinking alcoholic that I know, some I have loved deeply. I have a couple of uncles who just my heart, my favorite people in the world, but both of them died early because of alcohol, and they're not the only ones. And so I want you to know that, your family cares about you, even though it's hard for them to have to expose you in this way. They care enough to fight for you to fight. And it is tiring when you are supporting someone who has an issue, an addiction, because they have no control over the addiction. They know that the addiction controls you, but they have no control over the addiction. Okay. So we're going to move this calendar because I'm not even sure you are in the frame of mind where you are competent to agree to anything that your attorney would suggest at this time. Okay.
I don't think she'll even come on camera right now because she really not. She really.
I see her. I'm looking at her.
Oh, she is.
She's on camera. So Miss, is she in the home with you, Miss Vanessa?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
All right. So Miss Telfair, remember that part of your sentence too was not to have any violent or harassing contact with family members. And it seems like that may already have been violated from Tuesday to today. Are you hearing me, Miss Telfair?
Ms. Telfair, if you could just acknowledge that you heard the judge. You don't have to agree.
She heard me. Ms. Telfair, we had a great conversation, but like I said, the last thing I want anybody who has an addiction to do is to lie to themselves. You can lie to me all day because I'm going to see through it. I see so clearly through people. That's why I knew that, you didn't just fall off the fall into this. Something's triggering it. But the problem is when you lie to yourself and say, well, I'm not an addict, I can fix it, I'm good. Then what happens is when nobody's looking, your addiction comes back with full force, and then you're up all night drinking. All right. So I just want you to know that the actions that you take have far-reaching consequences. If your son sees you in this state, he will never forget it. That might be something that y'all can repair later, but you're going to have to do the work to do that. Otherwise, what you got is a kid who's going to remember his mom at her worst, when what he needs to see is her at her best. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with catching up with that other piece that's out there. We're going to look for any other cases that might be hanging out there. Please be mindful that you calling the police is, unless there's some serious danger to you or someone, near you, that's probably not the best thing for you. Because the police are probably going to arrest you as opposed to arresting somebody else. Are we clear?
It already happened before. She called the police on herself before.
Yeah, sure did.
So Ms. Telfair, I'm going to need you to, you can exit the hearing at this time. Your probation officers will be given information regarding what happened today. And then we'll move forward from that point. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vanessa and Ms. Ebony. I'm going to try and push out whatever hearing we have next far enough out to where you aren't like missing work or whatever you have to do to be here. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. And we're going to do the best we can to help Ms. Telfair. I don't believe she's a bad person. I just believe
she's not. She really
that
is not.
addiction, it has taken over.
Right, right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Love you, Mom.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So that case, I'm sorry, I kind of had to jump around and get that done. So the next case on the calendar, 1 second, just let me do this.
And Your Honor, do you need the case number for the open case I just accused yesterday? Do you need
Yeah,
that? Case?
give that to Mr. Lynch.
Okay. You ready to take it down, Mr. Lynch?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, it's 2024 CR 08697.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are the charges, if you don't mind?
Simple battery and then 2 counts of criminal trespass.
Okay. And then that and the traffic case, those should be the only 2 outstanding, hopefully, right?
That I'm tracking. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna make sure once we conclude court that there isn't any other ones that needs to be accused.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next is Marissa Ann Cooper. That's the one that Mr. Lynch is on.
Yes, Judge. I saw Ms. Cooper on the call. In fact, she even sent a message or I'm sorry.
I see Ms. Cooper. Ms. Cooper, may I see you, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Cooper, I sent you a chat asking for your number because the number that our office had, which ends in 0418, was not in service when we called. Could you chat me your current phone number and your email address so I can talk to you about how you want to put the matter on today's calendar?
Yes, sir.